Because like there's this thing that Sarah Silverman says that like people brag about getting their pets from the pound. It's like, get your kids from the pound.
Yeah, there's almost there's between like 15 to 20,000 kids in the New York foster system alone.
Yeah.
But then you can also make a family with non-human animals too, or a combination, or you can just be child free and have no. But yeah, it's like, because those are real lives that exist right now with interests, desires, feelings, and needs. Whereas the unborn and the unconceived don't have any of that. No one needs to come into the world. No one's being deprived of anything by not coming into the world, because you can't experience deprivation unless you're already alive.
Yeah.
So it should be kind of like, I feel like it should be a kind of common sense thing. Like it should at least have as much support as like getting animals from the pound. But even that has a far ways to go.
What about the future? What about like, I don't know, what if we have more people, there's more minds that could solve all of our problems?
Well,
you mean instead of exacerbate all the problems?
Yeah, you might give birth to the next Einstein or something.
Yeah, well, there's probably already a bunch of Einsteins alive right now, and we still see our problems getting worse and worse. And that's just a gamble, and it's not right to put that pressure onto someone else. Instead of relying on your children to solve world problems, why not try to solve them yourself?
Yeah, I think you try and solve them yourself, but then also if you foster that spirit in more people, then that's a good thing, right?
How many people do you know who are trying to solve any world problems right now?
Maybe this is more an issue with like our mindset as a species, instead of I mean, everyone's quite self-centered, aren't they?
Yeah, and for the people who do want to try to fix issues or mitigate issues at the very least, or spread awareness about issues, you can still foster that kind of mindset in people who are already here right now by adopting or fostering. You don't have to bring someone into existence and hope that they'll want to, try to help with some issues in the world. You can already do that with kids who are already here right now who need loving homes and support.
That's true. I think definitely like adopting is good. I think that's a good thing to do.
And that's one of the major issues in the world, all the children who are in need, who are not being cared for. So you can be proactive about that by adopting yourself. If you want to have children, of course, if you don't want to have children, don't adopt. But you could, donate to adoption services or help them out in some way.
Yeah. That said, I in my family I have I guess quite a few adopted relatives, and I know and I can see firsthand how like incredibly difficult it can be to foster children, and I don't think I would really want to put that on everyone. I think you have to definitely be in a certain state or place of like to foster kids properly and well. I think you need to have like a lot of resources, and a lot of people can't access those resources, and I don't think maybe those resources are this, like if you're having your own kids, I think it's in a lot of ways a lot more straightforward. It's a lot less risky in terms of, I can understand why like to expect everyone to foster kids. I know, yeah, it's difficult, it's more difficult I think than having your own kids.
Yeah, I mean, because there is a moral duty with those who exist and those who want to be parents. I feel like prioritizing those who are real in the flesh, in the world. And yeah, I mean, anyone who goes into fostering and adopting, they're already going to know that there's going to be challenges. It's not going to be easy peasy. But there can be challenges that are just as challenging or even greater by having your own kids, because it's a gamble. There's no way to know what your kid's going to be like, what's going to happen to them. Once they're into the world, now you've exposed them to all possible outcomes that can happen to anyone who comes into the world. So there's no guarantee of safety, health.
Yeah, no guarantee, but I guess with foster kids, usually it's much more likely that they do have those kind of issues.
Yeah, but at least if you do focus on foster kids, at least you can help give them greater chances of a better future, because the future for most of them is pretty bleak. a lot of human trafficking, homelessness, imprisonment, drug addiction, not being able to get a job, very little education. So at least you can help where there's actually need. Whereas with the unborn, there's no need for them to come into the world. You can't get anyone's consent to come into the world. You can't show them what the world consists of. So you're really just imposing existence onto someone. And although people can have positive experiences when they come into the world, negative experiences are also a guarantee. And I think it's a really good thing to prevent someone from experiencing negative experiences. And if they're going to be prevented from experiencing positive experiences by not coming into the world, that's okay, because they're not in need of that. But once you are alive, you are in need of positive experiences. So
do you think there's in terms of actually achieving is there any real way that you actually can prevent people from, you know, having kids like they do now? Like, how do you actually change people's mindsets like that?
No, I mean, all I try to do is just have conversations like what I'm doing with you right now. And you know, just keep it positive, and you know, everyone can have their own agency that way. No one's being forced or coerced to do anything. So we're just having conversations. So after we have our conversation, you just go about your life like you have been, and you can do whatever you want. So that's my method. And I don't know how much change I'm ever gonna make, but I feel like trying at least a little bit is better than not trying at all.
Absolutely, I think it's a lot of people, when you have these kind of these things you believe in, I think it's so easy to just give up, not believe, and not try and convince anyone, not doing anything about it, and just kind of become like apathetic to it. But it's good to do something, or at least try and do something. So I respect that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't have any grand goal of trying to change the world or a whole city or state or anything. It's just, but every little bit helps. You know. You can spare so much by not bringing another human into existence for that person who would have come into existence. And we all have a great impact on other humans and other animals and the environment as a whole too. And like I said, every life is a gamble. You don't know what someone's going to be like. So I think it's the best form of prevention, because most parents, you know, who care about their kids, for example, they don't want their kids to get cancer, but 1 out of every 3 humans right now is getting cancer. So like, very, very good odds. And then all kinds of other things, all kinds of other forms of harm and suffering that can come to someone after they exist. I think the best prevention for everything is just not procreating to begin with. You know, you avoid it all.
Do you wish you'd been born?
No, I mean, I would have preferred my parents would have either just not had children, period, or that they would have fostered or adopted.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, for one, that aligns with the message that I'm saying. And yeah, I wouldn't have been missing out at all had I not been born. You know, the world was around for billions of years before any of us were born. We were not sad. I don't think we weren't sad. I don't think we're sad that we weren't around for any of those years, and we weren't sad while those years were going by and we didn't know about them. And yeah, I mean, once you do come into existence, life is a burden. Not necessarily 24/7 all the time for everyone, but
I guess the same. Like you say, it isn't sad that you're not here, but then again, like, I think the same. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But this same logic could be applied to, say, you know, if you live and die, then it's no different to have just, like, not lived ever, surely. Because it's going to be the same either way. Like, you're only alive for a, you know, short period of time, and then it's over. So what's the difference if it's that or nothing at all?
Well, in the short period of time that you're talking about, we can have a lot of experiences and make a large impact on others, like I was saying, other humans, other animals, the environment as a whole. I mean, if you just look at the amount of trash the average human, at least like in New York and across the United States, produces in just a week out of their whole life. I mean, people just dump it, they take it outside and it gets hauled away. But if people were to like save all their trash they produce for just a month, and just let it pile up, like, it's insane how much trash we produce. And you know, that's just like one thing. I would say the highlight of most people's lives, I know they don't think about this, but I would say the highlight of most people's lives is the waste they produce while they're alive and the cruelty they inflict on others, whether it's deliberately indirect or not necessarily deliberately and indirect. You know, there's like millions of animals that are dying for humans every single minute. In really, really ways that are far worse than they would have died in nature. And you know, the list just goes on and on and on. We just cause so much harm, and it's not fair. We really need to let other life that exists on this planet have their life back. You know, have a cleaner planet. Because now you're finding plastic in everyone. Human babies now are born with plastics in their bodies and all kinds of toxins, and it's getting into the, you know, fish are eating other fish that are full of plastic, and you know, it just goes on and on and on. We're kind of just screwing everyone over.
Well, yeah, the irony is that we think we evolved to this industrial world, but really, I think we're going to realize we have to go back to being hunter-gatherers to really have a more fulfilling life. And to not harm the earth and ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we didn't realize we were actually harming ourselves by industrializing the world.
And now we have the science for all that, and the science keeps developing.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think? I mean, if the science keeps on developing, maybe there is a way to undo this eventually, like with science, you know?
That's what I mean. We have to go back to being like the Native Americans.
But we would have to all collectively decide to do that, and I don't know that would happen.
Big come to Jesus moment.
I mean, now we have AI. We have AI developing rapidly, and now there's a lot of talk about us merging with AI and humans turning into like. Some people are saying that humans are going to turn into another species where we're part organic human like we are now, and then part like cyborgs.
I mean, we already are a little bit. I mean, our phones are
basically attached to us.
Oh, sorry. I have an example of that. So there was this little petite woman, and she got her phone stolen, and she ran after the thug who clearly could have hurt her.
Yeah.
But she's running after the thug who got her phone.
Yeah.
That's a cyborg.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, think about all the photos and videos on there, all the text messages, the contacts, internet history.
And just think of, you know, old movies, you know, even the fictional version of like a woman getting her purse stolen. The woman never runs after the guy because it's just a machine
cash.
That's part of her that she needs.
Yeah, there's just some cash in there, maybe a credit card, but she can call her bank. But the cell phone is like our lives. Like people spend
We're so reliant on it.
People spend about
run after the thug. What?
Yeah, it's like your instinct because it's like they're taking one of your body parts and you want your body part back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was interesting talking to you. I have to go.
Oh, thank you. Check out the website. Stop having kids that work. Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm not actually from New York. I'm from England. This is my first time visiting.
Oh, okay.
It's a cool city.
Yeah, I'm not from New York either, but I've been here probably 15 or 20 times.
Cool. Well, it was good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy. That guy doesn't look too pleased about it.
You agree? Yes, I agree.
Would you like a sticker? Stuff? Okay.
You agree?
I don't know. I've definitely had the thought.
What do you think?
It's a fucked up world.
Yeah, damn right.
Would you say the world's cruel?
I would.
So do you think it's cruel to bring someone into a world that you can acknowledge as cruel?
But what if they can make a change?
I mean, you know, you can't guarantee anything about anyone who comes into the world, and I don't think they should be viewed as a means to an end, but whatever change that is, you could work towards that change yourself instead of hoping that someone else is going to do it.
So what if we do make a change, and then what if we can become a better world by the time they're here?
Well, I think one aspect of this becoming a better world is prioritizing the lives who are already here right now and in need. So more adopting over creating of life, you know, because there's not a lot of people that do that. Adoption is usually a last resort for someone. It's not their go-to approach to having children. So I think that would be one aspect of a better world, because no one can be harmed or suffer by not coming into the world. There's no deprivation. But once we do come into the world, we all have a bunch of interests and needs and desires that need to be fulfilled. And we can help. Many of us have the ability to help those who are here.
What about people that don't, like, let's say like kids that are like sick, or like cancer, right? They all they want is another day. So I feel like you should kind of treat it as a blessing. Like they don't have the option.
Yeah, now that they're here.
Yeah, now that they're here.
And nobody wants cancer, right? But 1 out of 3 humans gets cancer, and the only way to protect your children from cancer is to not bring them into the world in the first place.
But don't you think those kids would want someone else to live their life like they wish they could? You know?
I don't know either way, but you could.
This is the only answer, just to stop having kids. There's no, you don't see any point from the other side?
No.
Oh, to adopt.
One of the signs there says, take care of ones that are already here.
And then almost 500.
Any more should be made.
Almost, yeah. I don't think the world needs any more humans. No one needs to come into existence. And we do share this planet with millions of other animal species that we're a big burden to their lives and their well-being.
Animals should have kids?
I mean, if I could,
But they should be.
yeah, if I could try to persuade other animals to not have kids, I would do that. But that's only possible with humans. So yeah. And we also have more of an impact on the planet than any other animal does. So I would still want to prioritize delivering this message to humans anyway.
Good talk, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
you.
Yeah, check out the website, stophavingkids.org.
Have a good one.
You too. Yeah, of course.
Why are you doing this?
Well, it's really about a lot of things, but I mean, first off, a lot of people just decide to have kids without even really thinking about it, and also weighing the options, such as the option of not having kids, the option of helping someone who's already alive right now, such as fostering or adopting, instead of creating someone out of the unborn. And this really, I think this is the best way of protecting children and humans and animals as a whole, because all the bad things that can befall us once we come into existence, they can't befall you if you don't come into existence. So this is the best way to prevent everything.
Aren't you glad that you are in existence?
Am I glad that I'm in existence?
Because
I would have been perfectly fine with not being born, and if I hadn't, but listen, even if you love your life so much, you wouldn't be missing out if you weren't born, because you wouldn't know otherwise.
that's sad.
Why is that sad? It's just a simple fact.
Not always good, but
I think it's sad that people decide to create their own children instead of helping children who are already here and in need.
Kids when we can just send our parents to forceful therapy. That's not how that works.
Well, we're already here.
We gotta have some therapy.
We're already here. Now that we're here, we can
And
make
a little
the
bit
right
of
choices,
estrogen too.
perhaps.
That shit fire. I can't have kids because I did too much estrogen.
But yeah, I think the needs of those who are already here should come before the unborn, and everyone who doesn't exist, they don't have a need to exist, and the world doesn't need any more humans. We don't provide a benefit to the planet.
Life has good and bad things, sure.
How many kids did you have?
I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren.
Okay. Just please don't pressure your kids into having kids.
You guys are serious?
Oh yeah. This would be a total waste of time if we weren't.
Well, I mean, I've never seen anybody quite as passionate about this issue as
Yeah, I wish more people were. I wish it was something people got to see more often.
And then why you personally would feel this committed to dedicate your time.
Yeah, well, I've done other forms of activism too. I've done a lot of animal rights stuff, for example, but
Pretty low intensity, all things considered.
Well, but animal rights activism, I've never done it myself, but I can understand where that comes
Yeah.
from.
Well,
But
this-
to say that you shouldn't have killed.
But this gets to everything. So every human out there right now and every other animal out there right now who's suffering some kind of human-induced issue, the reason why they're suffering the issue, the injustice, whatever you want to call it, is because they were born in the first place. And the reason why other people are causing it is because they were born too. So
they exist.
Yeah, exactly, because they exist.
So you're saying
and no
we
one
shouldn't
has
exist?
Yeah, we don't rain from the sky. We have to be created, and we don't have to be created. Like the people who made us didn't have to make us. In most
So
cases.
you're not saying like you want to see a reduction in kind of breeding. You want it to stop completely.
Well, that would be the most ideal outcome, but that would be completely unrealistic.
But
So
isn't
we're
that,
just
like,
trying to.
suicidal and like a kind of.
No, because suicide is people who are already alive practice suicide. You can't
But are
be
you saying that
suicided
you
out of
don't-
not existing.
You don't want to see the human race make it to the next generation or the generation beyond that.
Yeah, I think the less time that humans continue to be around, the better. But I don't think that would happen. This wouldn't lead to something like that because this is such a
But you
small
just
thing
answered
in
my
a lot of.
question. You do feel that. You don't. You
Well,
think
yeah, I
the
mean-
human race should be.
Yeah. Well, I want to answer your questions honestly, but that's not what this is about. This is about This is also about why don't we prioritize the lives that are already here right now and in need. So like humans who haven't been conceived and born, they're not missing out by not coming into the world, and they're not being harmed by not coming into the world. But those who are alive right now and who are in need of vast improvement, they are being harmed by not being prioritized over the unborn.
Can I take a picture?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for answering my question.
Yeah, for sure.
You have free stickers?
Yeah, if you'd like one.
Can I take a card also?
Yeah, take whatever you'd like.
It's true.
Yeah,
There are
right.
local problems also.
Yeah. And you know, this gets to the root of everything, because every problem that someone experiences in existence, they wouldn't have experienced it if they weren't born. And then all the problems that we
That's some deep philosophy shit, for sure.
it's
yeah.
deep, but it's also so simple.
It's,
and then-
it's also very simple, like, stop focusing on the global world and focus on this.
Yeah. And why not
This
prioritize?
city, this country, whatever it is, there's so many people suffering.
Yeah.
Let's prioritize the suffering.
You okay?
Is this serious? Is this dead ass?
Yeah, well, we're 100% serious.
How many kids? You got no kids?
I have no kids, but even if I did, that wouldn't invalidate what we're saying, because people can have kids and then feel a different way about it in the future.
I almost did, and then I stopped.
You don't have
There's a guy who does activism similar to this in the UK, and he has 3 kids. It took him. He didn't develop thoughts like this.
So you
And
guys are pro-abortion?
yeah,
I'm pro-abortion too, but
we're pro-abortion, but that's not what this is
I'm
about.
pro not having kids.
Yeah, we're pro not conceiving in the first place.
Not conceiving at all, or not conceiving
Yes,
kids
sir.
you don't love and care about.
Yeah, not conceiving at all. Why don't we put the love and the care towards children who already exist who need loving homes?
But like, if that's the agenda you guys have, what happens to the human population?
Well, the human population is going to keep going on regardless. But if
Everyone in the world,
like listen to this, then humans would eventually cease to exist. But what's wrong with that?
so what's your demographic you're targeting?
Literally every human in the world.
So if every human in the world stopped having kids, how long should they stop having kids for? Until they die?
Well, yeah, I just don't think there's any. I don't think there's ever an ethical scenario to have a kid. I think human procreation is 100% unethical across the board.
Unethical?
Yeah, I don't think it's right. You can't get someone's consent to bring them into the world. So you're
You're right. Because I be thinking like, yo, mom, I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
yeah.
This life
It's not like she could have asked you anyway.
Yeah.
And pain and suffering are guaranteed aspects of life.
Yeah.
Hardships.
Part of life. It's about overcoming those pain and hardships through finding your community, finding love, things you enjoy, hobbies. These are things that bring meaning to life.
Right, but you wouldn't.
Those thoughts. thoughts, but now I've grown to see like the joy in life that life has to offer. Life has opportunities and
Oh, his
ways to
pretzel's pretty
flourish.
good right now.
Huh?
His pretzel's pretty tasty
Yeah, the
right
pretzel,
now.
that ice cream
Yeah.
is pretty good. So you're like,
There's-
wow, I'm alive to enjoy this.
Nobody's denying that life has good moments and good moments.
The life.
But you wouldn't be missing out. Had you never been born, all the things that you like about life, you wouldn't be missing out on them. And you don't have the need for positive experiences until you are born. So I think it's a good thing to avoid all the negative experiences by not coming into existence, and it's not a bad thing to avoid the positive experiences because you can't know otherwise. You can't be deprived.
But yeah, I'm trying to have kids one day, and my goal is to make sure they're in a world where they enjoy living.
But there's no way to make sure of that. It's a gamble.
It's a part of life, but it's still.
Well, you don't have to make you don't have to make that a part of life though. It's optional. I'm not having kids, so not having kids is a part of life
The
too.
world's not nearly good enough for my kids.
She didn't have kids. The only way to truly protect your kids from all bad possible outcomes that come with existence is to just not have them in the first place. But if you do want children, why not foster or adopt?
Stop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see what comes out my ball sack. I'm trying to see that.
Well, you know. And that's why.
Yeah. But you're right. A lot more people.
I mean, it's not. I'm not going to deny that it's not a little bit sad that you won't be able to see that if you do choose. You know. But you know, they won't have to be here to suffer.
I think you guys shouldn't. I think you guys should push adopt children, not stop having kids, but more pro-adopt.
Well, we have a sign right there that says adoption shouldn't be a last resort.
I feel like to stop having kids, I feel like if someone can balance an adopted child.
Well, there's also the environmental consequences of people's impact on the local.
I mean, sooner or later we're going to be in a different planet.
It'll be a lot later. It'll be a lot later.
Well, the only reason why people want to go to another planet is because we're destroying this planet.
Yeah.
So I think if we go to another planet, we're going to destroy that planet too. So why don't we just get to the bottom of all the issues, which is procreation, because you can only aid in the destruction if you come into the world to begin with, or create new forms of destruction. So I think the best way to prevent it is to just not have kids, you know, just all across the board. So, and you know, a lot of people can't even afford their own life right now. It's expensive to live.
Yeah, wow, right. Unless you come from generational wealth.
There you go.
Yeah.
And all that.
But even then, like, things can happen. Like, there's a lot of identity theft. Someone can hack into your bank account and you know, rob you dry. People get drugged and then they get taken to the ATM and their bank account is depleted when they wake up the next day. So there's still all kinds of things that can happen.
It was nice meeting y'all. I'll take some photos.
Yeah, you too.
Any takers join the vasectomy club?
There was one.
Years ago.
There were a couple.
That's an awesome sign.
Yeah, there were a couple of people today who were interested, especially one guy in the last hour who was pretty sure he doesn't want to have kids, but he doesn't have a vasectomy. And I was explaining the best way to, you know, make sure that doesn't happen, that you don't have kids and then not cause an accidental pregnancy, is to get it. And it's a very, very easy operation.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so.
I don't have any. Never wanted any.
Good.
Regret it.
What were your biggest motivations for not wanting kids?
People have sex because they enjoy it, not to have a child, and then they accidentally have a child.
I asked myself,
think about how many, single parents.
do you really have enough self-sacrifice and patience to do it? Because I saw what other people went through.
Right? You acknowledge
And the answer came back, no, not really. And then I asked, does the world really
But I
want
also
you to
acknowledge
care
that
for
they're
us?
beautiful people like
And
us
the answer
who are
came back,
meaningful.
no.
Yeah. I don't think the world needs any more
What's the
humans.
point? You know,
Yeah.
I just didn't see the
My
point.
opinion.
And then you have more room in your life to just do the things that you want. You're not dedicating it to a child.
Exactly. And wow, you know, I've been called
I bet you I'm not the only
things.
one.
I bet.
Selfish.
A lot of miserable people, a lot of suffering.
And you know what
Selfish,
happens?
like having
help me, help.
Yeah, like you're doing someone
It's
to.
the opposite from our perspective.
Yeah.
It's just you want a little mini me. And
Yeah.
that's all, but I don't say that to anybody, just to you.
You're not doing anyone a favor or giving someone a gift by bringing them into the world. You know, non-existence is peace. Yeah. Yeah. Once we exist, there's just problems that we have to deal with. And all the good things that we've experienced in life, like you probably have a great relationship with your dog, for example.
I love animals. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I
like.
never felt
Thank you.
bereft for 1 second. Still don't.
Good. Yeah. And I was just getting on to saying that, like, all the good things that we get to experience by being alive, like the relationship you have with your dog, for example, had you not ever been born and not experienced that, you wouldn't be missing out because you wouldn't know otherwise.
How would you know that? It's a moot point. If you don't exist, how the hell would you know what you're
Exactly.
missing out on?
But that's one of the biggest arguments that people come at us with.
It's not like you're screaming in the void.
Meanwhile, there's a lot of misery in life.
It's terrible.
Even people with good lives.
It's terrible. Hell, look around you.
Have one child or have no child.
Jordan Peterson popped up in my Facebook feed. Everybody, it's without question, everybody should have children. Yeah, I know the population. For millions of years, your ancestors have procreated, and they were all wrong, and you're right. Well, good luck with that. You're deluded and
Well, they didn't know that. I mean, that was the pre-science age. And we were like wild animals back then. We didn't know, you know. And we needed.
Yeah, we didn't have vasectomies.
It was okay to reproduce hundreds and thousands of years ago.
There was a point where you needed extra hands.
Yeah.
You needed extra hands. Those were workers. Those were So
I know that.
I mean, I would still say it's like very selfish to procreate, like, because it's basically like exploitation.
Pretty
but,
much is selfish. You just
but yeah.
hygiene.
And rather than helping those who are
Another one of you running around, that's great. I hope they come up with a cancer cure. Chances are they will.
Always get that,
meanwhile, you have these poor kids every day. You see commercials for childhood cancer, and then, you know, nobody thinks, oh, my kid's gonna have childhood cancer and die in poor, and just no misery and suffering.
Even people that are genetically predisposed to diseases have them.
That's just one other aspect.
That is just such a crime.
And either way, even if you raise the healthiest kid and then they have healthy habits as an adult, they can still get cancer. 1 out of 3 people get cancer.
I did.
You did,
I'm
yeah.
here. It's okay.
There's mental health issues. There's suicidal. There's depression.
Please, look around you.
There's people that wind up
how do you think all those broken people got? I want to say to Peterson, excuse me. How do you think all those broken people got broken? It's not because they went to war and they've got PTSD. Though some of them might have. That was their childhood. That's how they got it.
The compassionate decision is to not impose, because once you bring a child into the world, all possible outcomes exist, no matter how they're raised or anything. So all the worst things that you wouldn't want to happen to your children can still happen to them. And the only way to protect your children from all those things is to not have them in the first place.
Yes.
So it's a very simple thing that we're just trying to get people to understand.
You guys are brave. You must get some abuse too, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing this for 3 years, so.
Okay.